Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is the MSV podcast. Here we talk about crypto. My name is Sabi, I am your host today. Let's start. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the MSV podcast. Today we will talk about one of the most important segments of the blockchain, decentralized finance. Please welcome my guest today, Emile from Xdefi. Hi Emile, thank you very much for being here. How are you doing? And Happy New Year, of course.
Thanks. Happy New Year to you, man. Thanks for having me. And I'm glad to be with you today.
So you are a professional, let's say, in the DeFi. And I think the first topic I would like to discuss with you, what is the future of DeFi? Do we see right now DeFi as it is, that we can use it for the end of the time? Or do you see a development which is going on right now? Or how do you see DeFi in 5 years, let's say?
I wouldn't be able to answer this question. I mean, that would be highly speculative, given that like every 3, 4, 6 months, like a lot of things are happening in the space. So I don't really know, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, like I'm tabbing on, DeFi, eating TradFi. I think there are a lot of things that we can do to improve like what's happening at TradFi level, especially like allowing like anyone, even if they're not high net worth individual, like to access like interesting financial instruments in a decentralized fashion. But like, yeah, I think that would be complicated to actually like, anticipate what's going to happen in the next 5 years. For us, the goal is really to provide the infrastructure for people to be able to navigate like the DeFi protocols across different networks. And at the same time, trying to make our wallets not just vehicle, but somehow like a destination, especially with the mobile app, to access some interesting yields via, like staking or like the savers vault from Thorchain and so on.
Do you think the cross-chain adoption will be a big next step, next milestone?
Yeah, I think so. I think that like now, like the multi-chain thesis has been validated since we started back in 2020, when most of the DeFi volume was going via Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, and other like EVM networks were another thing back then. Since then, like we've seen like a lot of different like EVM networks like popping up from everywhere really, and obviously like also like new layer ones such as Solana, Terra, which is there now, but and Cosmos and others. So I think that like the multi-chain thesis is there. Now we do need to provide some tools for the people to navigate all these different networks from one single place in a seamless fashion, and allow them to chase opportunities across the boards.
Okay. Do you think this cross-chain transactions in the future will bring, I don't know, new opportunities for hacks, for scams, I don't know, security issues, or it doesn't really have anything to do with that, or it's not related to that?
Well, it depends what you use. I guess that like the bridging scene has a lot to improve, and we will see what's happening in the next few months. I mean, this year in general. But yeah, there are some parts of it that needs to be like improved from a security standpoint, and I think like a few projects are working on it as well. So let's see how that evolves. That's something that like we keep an eye on, and like we have our own routing API. We're allowing bridging from the extension itself. And in general, we're trying to pick the bridges that are the safest historically. We have discussions with all of these teams, and I think it's important for us as not just like a wallet, but also like a multi-chain DEX/bridge aggregator to take attention to that.
Okay, let's talk just a bit about regulation, because I think DeFi, as it stands now, if we consider or not the FUD, regarding regulation stands pretty good, because it is, let's say, pretty simple in terms of its peer-to-peer, and that's all. Do you think that in the future we will see bigger regulations on DeFi as well, or you think that it is pretty straightforward in order not to, I don't know, give a weapon in the regulator's hand, mostly to those who are not knowledgeable about this?
Well, I'm not a lawyer myself. Obviously, we have a head of legal with keeping track of that too, and we're monitoring like the regulation things coming up on a weekly basis. But then I think like it depends from a jurisdiction to another. There will probably like be like regulation coming. Now again, like this is not something that like I really have like an opinion on. Like, I mean, I do, but it's like, yeah, no comment really. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but we do monitor that. We are self-custody wallet. We probably at some point gonna face some regulation in some jurisdiction, and we will adapt ourselves. We obviously not pro KYC, and we're not planning to apply KYC to our users. That's something we firmly stand against. And in general, the only thing we can do is monitoring and then adapt based on what happens in a given jurisdiction.
Okay, let's discuss a bit about your product, Xdefi Wallet. Can you tell us a bit about it in general, what we need to know about this wallet?
Sure. So our flagship product is the wallet extension that we've been building since 2020. We have a revamped UX UI that is going to be launched in January and February. That's going to be a gradual release. We've been adding chains since the beginnings. We right now support 17 plus chains. We have a strong focus on Cosmos for Q1 and Q2. So we're going to add a lot of Cosmos chains. We have Axela, Osmosis, Cosmos, Injective, and Sales testnets that are going to be released pretty soon. And then we will also release a custom RPC for Cosmos chains, which is going to allow us to support all of the chains out there. And obviously that's important. There is also a custom RPC coming for EVM networks, because we cannot, keep up with all the EVM networks that are being launched. So that's also something that we're adding pretty soon. Otherwise than that, I think the extension itself is really a vehicle. I was talking about destination later, but earlier, but the extension is here to allow people to navigate across protocols wherever they based in a seamless fashion, in a safe way, and obviously as fast as possible. So that's the first product. That's the flagship product. That's the product that we're going to continue to develop, trying to make it a standard and default wallet for people that are getting onboarded into crypto in general, not just DeFi, but also for NFTs, since we're supporting NFTs for all the network that are themselves supporting NFTs. Then we have the mobile app that is coming early Q2 for the beta testers. Very important for us to launch a mobile app that is top notch for the people that are going to join during the next cycle. So that's really for us a massive focus right now. And I do believe that we've nailed the UX UI around that. We've done a lot of research, we've done a lot of iterations, and we're pretty happy of the result as it stands now. We just need to release it. The development has started since December, and hopefully we're going to have something soon, for the beta testers, because the community has been asking for it a lot. So we're a wallet, okay? Mobile wallet, extension wallet. We have a web app that comes in support of both of these wallets. Right now, it's rather focused on execution with the multi-chain DEX bridge aggregator and EVM pools I think we have we're supporting 15,000 pools right now and farms. Next, we're going to have a bigger focus on the portfolio side of things. Today, in crypto, you have a few projects that are indexing from block zero and allowing people to review their historical P&L, but no one is covering nearly as many chains as us. So the goal for 2023 is to allow users to not just review their current holdings on their current holdings, but also to be able to analyze their historical P&L. So that's a big focus for us. We've been working for a long time on our own API indexes. So we're wallet interface, but the backbone of that is obviously our API indexes, and that took a lot of time to build. But we're getting there now for 17 plus chains and more. And that's obviously going to allow us to create and design new features that are going to be super helpful for people. So yeah, a lot of time spent on that. And obviously the routing API, right? We're aggregating providers such as Torchain, Paraswap, 1inch, OpenOcean, Socket with all the EVM bridges, Jupiter, Osmosis, Satellite, and so on. That allows basically people to swap and bridge any assets between them, whether they are native or long tail assets. So that's also been a big focus, because this is the core of our revenue model and how we make money, really. So yeah, that's pretty much Xdefi in a nutshell. We have a pretty big team now. We're 40 people divided between these five departments. Sorry. So yeah, a lot of work.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you very much for this also introduction of the team. I can see that crypto cards, cards for crypto wallets are popping up, or maybe more and more projects are focusing on. Is that also for you a focus in the future?
Yeah, not just now. I mean, that's something we've been discussing for ages, but at the same time, it's like we can't scope crypto too much. We're working on a lot of different things, so that's not something we're planning to release anytime soon. I mean, I get how attractive it is, and like I think it's really super cool. I would be a user myself, but yeah, we can't, like we're already working on a lot of things, and we first need to nail them ahead of the next cycle to be ready and have a suite of products that is super performance and UX UI wise, like as nice as it can be. Then we will focus on other stuff. But for now, it's not the focus. But it's something we've discussed. Like obviously, I mean, as we obviously discussed it.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you think is the most interesting, important feature of the wallet, of the Xdefi wallet?
Well, I mean, like the fact that it's a multi-chain and that we're trying to abstract the concept of change, right? Like if you look at most wallet extensions, you're going to have to change the network at the top. So essentially, you cannot see all of your assets in your landing page. And at the same time, you cannot see like the reconciliated balance across all the different chains that you have and wallets. So for us, it's to make it simple for you to manage all of your assets from a single place and also like interact with all the different dApps that exist from a single place. Once again, today, if you really want to interact with all the ecosystems out there, you're going to need like what? MetaMask, Phantom, Kepler, and so on. Like if you just have Xdefi wallet, you can already do all of that. And if we want to onboard like the next 50 million people, like in crypto, we do need to make sure that like the UX is as simple as possible. It's already complicated to understand like self-custody and how to manage your private keys and so on and so forth. You see phrases. So if on top of that you need to deal with different wallet extensions, that's a bit complicated in it. So that's the first feature. And I think the second one that is really important and as I said, like a core features, because this is how we generate revenue, is the swap, right? Like from within the wallet, you don't have to go on a web app to be able to swap an asset against another. It doesn't matter on which chain it is. You can do everything from one interface. You don't have to deal with transaction signing pop-ups because it's always like a pain to deal with transaction signing pop-ups in general. I think this is a big part of the UX, which sucks in crypto, and this is something that we're gonna continue developing and optimizing to offer like the best routes for our users and make it as fast as possible for them to bridge or swap. So these two are very important. But obviously, there are plenty of others, right? Like we're supporting NFTs for plenty of different chains, but that's the same kind of user case, right? Like when I was saying landing page, all of your tokens, same concept.
I'm really glad that you mentioned the self-custody and the swap feature, because I think 2022 was the year of waking up, regarding centralized exchanges, and people just probably flooded from centralized exchanges to DeFi and try to understand and try to use as much as possible DeFi by avoiding sending their crypto, their assets to a third party. Did you see a bigger adoption after the news broke? Obviously, I'm talking about FTX and even before, Luna and lending protocols and everything which went on in the second half of last year.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, we've seen, so what was our growth? Like we had 135% weekly active user growth in 22. We had a spike of new users in November, December, following obviously like the news around like FTX and other centralized exchanges or platforms. So yeah, of course, I think people start to realize that like self-custody is very important in crypto. I would say that like self-custody alone is not guaranteeing, you being safe, right? So you need to take some precautions. You need to use a hardware wallet. You need to avoid signing like anything like with an address that you're also using to store a large amount of crypto. You need to understand how to leverage like a multi-sig and so on. So it's complicated, right? Like there was a lot of education to be done here. Now, I think that like as wallets, it's also a role to make things simpler. That's what we're trying to do. There will probably be a multi-sig directly integrated within the wallet soon. We're also working on a non-custodial 2FA, whereby to sign transactions within your extension, you will need essentially to use your mobile app. So you will have like your keys that are split on two different devices, which makes it very hard for you to get rugged. But in general, I think there will be like a part of needed, like when it comes to integrate to education. But I think it's the same for any type of like innovation. I mean, today, if you open a bank account, it's not that straightforward. It's complicated. When you do your tax every year, that's so fucking complicated. I can't deal with that. Like even myself, like it's like, I mean, even myself, like anyone is like that, right? It's a bit complicated. You need to get into it. I'm pretty sure that the first dude that used like a laptop, like or internet, like wasn't necessarily like super comfortable with it. And same for the first dude that like drove a car, right? I mean, so I think innovation comes with like a part of education. I'm not saying that like it's a reason for us not to try to improve the UX to make it easier for users, and this is exactly what we're trying to do. And obviously, we're looking into account abstraction, social guardians, and so on. Although some of the smart wallet features are not really like something we can do as easily with a multi-chain wallet as you do it like with just one single network that are supporting smart contracts. So yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of things to be improved, that's for sure. But I mean, education is still going to be something very important in crypto. And I think a lot of people are doing it well. We just need to continue like as one of the, actor of the crypto space to educate people. And that's exactly what we're trying to do via our website. We have a blog. We have a lot of articles that explain like in simple terms how self-custody works and how you can like, improve your OPSEC, your operational security. And that's something that would be like a component of the next cycle, like educating people.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm really glad that you mentioned about the smartphone and the car and the laptop and so on and so on. Because if I think back to my parents, for example, they had a hard time, a couple of years ago, to start using computers and such, So yeah, if you know anything which you learned, it's easy already. But I don't see DeFi much more difficult than creating the account on centralized exchange and go through the whole verification process and just the KIC and whatever else you need to do. So yes, it's about education. I think that is what needs to be ramped up. There is already, I think, a very big amount of material online. People just need to look around, and obviously in the first couple of transactions you need to triple check or check it 5 times before you hit the send button and do the test. So yeah, it's really good, and I do see DeFi wallets, as going forward and simplifying the user experience, and maybe that is the one of the biggest next milestones. When we don't use anymore the wallet addresses. I don't know, and we also have domains and so many things in development. So we are getting there. We are getting there to have it, to use it as simple as possible. But yes, everybody needs to learn just a bit, and after that, it's very easy. Okay, I'm not gonna bore you too much with my thesis here.
You don't, man. Like I think it's interesting.
Yeah, you also have a token. Let's go back to be just a bit to the wallet. You also have a token. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So the token is pretty simple, right? That's a classic V model whereby 75% of the fees that we are collecting via the swaps and other revenue generative like features are converted into our own token and distributed to stakers, right? So the more users we have, the more volume we have, the more we convert into Xdefi tokens, applying a buying pressure and then redistributing to stakers. That's pretty much what it does now. There will be like other components and additional utility to the token that we will announce like in Q2. And for now, this is what it is, and we just turned on the fees a couple of days ago now. So yeah.
Okay, I assume that the next big milestone is the mobile application, which you already mentioned. How it will look like? Does it have any interesting design, or you are focusing mostly on functionality in the first phase, and then you will just add more and more features? Will it have all the features as the extension has, or you are ramping up as it goes forward?
So I mean, like the new UX UI is obviously like going to be better than what we have now. Like, but performance is, in my opinion, like I mean, performance is a whole part of UX, right? So once we switch to our own API indexes, you'll see like an increased performance when it comes to how fast the extension is and so on. So that's very important, right? So I think like you can expect by the end of Q2 like a lot of changes, whether they are visual or whether they are like under the hood, improving like the pace at which like you can take actions within the product. But yeah, there will be like a lot of UX UI changes. We've already leaked some, and yeah, we're looking forward to releasing that to the community. But it's an iterative process. I'm not saying this is going to be the last, like a version of the extension. There are a lot of things we can improve. We try to improve like some specific flows and how we deal with stuff. It's obviously much more complicated than when you just like support one network, because you need to take into consideration characteristics that are proper to each network you support. So abstracting that part is complicated. And then comes like, like in general, how you manage your accounts and so on, so many addresses that are different, etc. So that's a lot of work, but we're getting there, and I think we're going to be ready. I know we have to be ready before the next cycle. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves for that, and it's going to get there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the new UX UI that will be fully released by the end of Feb. And then we're going to be able to actually promote heavily the wallet and have more people using it and get more feedback and iterating again on it. That's basically the unending game of building a product, isn't it? So yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to see it. Do you have any upcoming announcements which you would like to share with the audience, maybe for next week or in 2 weeks, because we are recording just a bit before we are publishing this episode?
Well, the UX UI, revamped UX UI, and even more important, the support for Cosmos chains. We've had a lot of demands from the community regarding like the Cosmos ecosystem, and I'm a user. We were there before with Terra and obviously Torchain, so that's really important for us that we support this ecosystem. And we're going to do our best to support natively as many chains as we can. We've been discussing with a lot of projects out there, so please keep your eyes peeled, but there will be like a lot of new chains added pretty soon, and we're quite excited for it.
Thank you very much. And everyone, you can find all the links in the description of this podcast. Emile, thank you very much for being here, for taking the time. It was a very interesting conversation, and I'm looking forward to our next one, hopefully very soon.
Thanks, man.